Wanxiang. I was born and raised in the second team of Sanbaiti village. From the time I was a teenager, I've been working outside my hometown. And right now I'm nearly 50 years old. Although I have worked away from my home all my life, as I grow older, I dream of returning to Ujiawan, my birthplace. It's very dear to me. No matter how big and how urbanized the city has become now, with its skyscrapers, I still believe there's no place better than my hometown.
Wanxiang has worked outside of his hometown Sanbaiti village for more than a decade. He has wanted to return to his hometown for quite some time now. However, what really brought him home to start a business was something he witnessed during the Qingming festival when he visited his ancestors' graves.
We went to the mountains to take a look. We observed that the mountain fields, about maybe 60 to 70% of them were desolate. Some trees had grown to be very tall. Although we did own some land in the area for many years, we made the choice to leave our hometown and preferred to work elsewhere. All the fields were covered with weeds and wild trees.
Seeing this whole scene truly broke his heart. After all, he grew up on this land. At the same time, he also saw a great opportunity to start a new business.
Ideally, what I want is to find a way to turn a good profit and promote tourism at the same time. So I want to transform this place and make it a small tourist spot. That will make it much more attractive, and that way everybody will benefit.
Old Mr. Wu has an active mind. He's well acquainted with modern trends. By researching on the internet, he discovered that roses, aside from their aesthetic value, have a high economic value too. And so he thought of building the top Rose Expo Park in Sichuan. But as far as the villagers are concerned, this great idea of his seems quite far-fetched.
I've never seen one. I know they're beautiful.
I've never seen one myself. I know that they're beautiful and fragrant. I've never seen one either.
I don't know what to make of it. Well, it's a strange idea.
Getting straight to work, in May 2014, Wanxiang and some of his friends raised 1.8 million renminbi to set up their own cooperative. However, as none of these friends were willing to give up the jobs they currently have, the burden of daily management of this venture fell solely on old Mr. Wu's shoulders.
At the end of it, add Sichuan province. You see, there are some people who are simply not aware which province Nanchong belongs to. So we have to add that to this name card so it's clear. The upper two characters need to be moved a little bit. There. That's good. Very good.
You can actually use several colors. Don't use only one.
Put member of the board or something like that. Any managerial title will do.
Just managerial, it doesn't matter.
The size is too small. Hey miss, are you sure this size is okay?
Managing the co-op is very cumbersome. It can be too much for old Mr. Wu, so he decides to hold a family meeting so they can all join the project.
Here's the name card. Because I have been extremely busy with work for quite some time now, we have not had a real chance to get together to talk. But since it's the weekend, it's family meeting time. We've been working on the Ujiawan project.
You shouldn't always just think about other people. Consider your own well-being too. Right from the very start, I told you not to do this. Several months ago when the project was barely just beginning. I told you not to push through with it, but you were so insistent, you were so stubborn. Now, look at your health. You have many problems, but you don't care. Ever since this business started, I have stopped singing and dancing. I used to do that twice a day. You don't care what I feel. And what about time with our children? If we make extra money, it's fine, but you've stopped caring for our family, and you have been neglecting our children.
Look at those people in the village. Aren't any of them capable of doing the work?
You have good intentions, I just wish
Look,
they'd
from
learn
the
to
time
help.
you have returned, you've asked one man to do this and another to do that, but has anyone ever done anything? Do you think this business is really going to grow when you're the only one putting in the effort? You leave as early as 7 o'clock every morning. And let me tell you, every time you leave Mom all alone at home, she gets upset and cries. Every time we talk about this, you always think that you are right, and whatever we think is always wrong. We do things your way. That's your way of thinking, of people from your generation who grew up in the 60s and 70s. But our generation doesn't think the way you do. You have to understand that we can't follow the same ideas.
Now that we have already started the project, we can't just stop. We have to carry on with it. Otherwise, who else is going to?
If I were you, I'd pull out. Still, I cannot support you.
The opposition he faced from his family did not stop old Mr. Wu from pressing on. In order to raise more funds for the project, old Mr. Wu invited people from the credit cooperative to survey the Rose Park.
Today, we have come for an initial investigation. Of course, we support your enthusiasm in the pioneering work that you're doing. It's worthy of praise.
Right now we have 40,000 square meters.
For this 40,000 square meters of land, the co-op has asked the
Yes,
locals
that sounds
to
about
become
right.
shareholders in the project as well.
Yes,
So this
sometime in the
entire area
future.
is going to
Possibly,
be covered.
well, hopefully within this year, we will get at least 200,000 square meters of land.
What's your projected development scale for the coming 3 years?
We're projecting that within 3 years, we'll have cultivated 666,666 square meters.
All that for the rose plantation?
Yes, we'll grow roses on the land for the next 3 years. According to our projection, we shall need about 100 million renminbi in total for our project. I'm just a simple farmer, but I know this profession. We've studied how to do this in other places. We survey the land in Shandong and Yunnan. I also invited experts in rose planting so they can survey the location. They inspected the soil and they say it's a good place. The expert told me it's a better location compared to Shandong. He told us that this place's soil is definitely much better. He said that it's very suitable for rose planting. When we finally came back from the survey, we bought tens of thousands of rose plants. When we did our survey, we hadn't seen a rose before. So honestly, we were not familiar with them. It seemed strange to me. Then suddenly, it's like I had a kind of premonition or something. I saw roses appear all over the mountains. These colorful roses, it was like a dream. I felt extremely happy. And so, I decided that this dream must be realized. I had to make sure it came true. In the beginning, we did not know that this dream would come with thorns that got in our way. We tried to pick them and they ended up pricking our hands. We complained, asking why the rose has to have thorns. But then we recall that song about every rose having its thorns.
The credit co-op survey boosted old Mr. Wu's confidence a great deal. And yet, while old Mr. Wu was caught up in his dream of roses, he forgot that roses really do have thorns. His plan for the first year was to plant 200,000 square meters, but he only has 40,000. To expand, he will have to rent land from the local villagers. Old Mr. Wu thought he was doing good, but it was turning out to be far more complicated than he imagined.
You should read it yourself.
I
Go
can't
on.
understand that. You know
Why can't
why?
you?
I never had a formal education. Brother, you know that very well, don't
Why
you?
don't you explain it to
Just
him?
explain it to me.
It's better if you read it.
I don't need to. I won't understand.
Listen, just let us use your land. You won't have to spend it all. We'll use your land. You'll be a shareholder.
You earn your money, brother. All your
Yes.
people can earn money too.
Right.
Earn money for yourselves. I will not take advantage, but you will occupy my fields and my land. Will you give me a proper price for them?
300 for the land.
That is impossible.
For the fields, 500.
No way. No way.
Because we're all from this village, we decided everything in our meeting.
Your investment will be secure. Moreover, the co-op will give you a share of the profits. For the farmers, there will be at least two ways to earn. First is the land rental. The other is a share of the income from however much the co-op makes. Plus, you'll earn income from your labor.
Just think about it. When you have considered our
don't need
proposal
to.
thoroughly, contact us. All right, we'll go now. Let's get going. Think about it. It's clearly good for you.
I don't have to think about it. I wouldn't take advantage of you, so you shouldn't take advantage of me. That's what my point is. The price is too low. Honestly.
Whether you make a profit or not will be determined by you. We don't understand much about this. But what's owed to us must be collected
We'll
as
have an
well.
account, just like the agricultural co-op.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay?
There will be a proper
Right.
account.
It will be similar to
We'll
the one
keep
used
track
by
of
the old
everything.
agricultural co-op. Look, the accountant will keep track of everything. Every year you will receive a share of the profits, and we'll settle the accounts. We will do the accounting together with you. We will do this per village, with the land, with each shareholder, our yearly income, what we've planted, and how much we've spent. All those will be open to you.
All I'm saying is, we should not count according to the land area, but according to the average crop yield that our village produces. You see, that is fair. 362.5 kilograms per section. Another thing, I want to make this clear. All the land and the fields that will be used must clearly be marked per owner. Otherwise, if the worst happens, if you choose to stop your business, what happens to our properties? We would be unable to find them again without clear demarcations.
Just tell us what you think. Go on.
First of all, as I told you before, I don't have any right to lease out the land to you. You have no right to do that with me either. I mean, we have a government, remember? And the land belongs to the state. The government should come to assure us.
Your land is going to be rented out to the specialized co-op, and you will receive a fixed income every year. And plus, General Manager Wu and the other members of the co-op have surveyed the situation in other places. They have. They've heard everyone's concerns. They have investigated very thoroughly and very honestly. I assure you the prospect of development is quite promising.
Because on our side, we have the state policy, the macro policy. This actually means that renting out the land, centralizing management, is a good way of doing things. It's not like having someone else take charge of your land. It's not the same as having another boss contract your land, okay? That system has been abolished.
This is all I'm trying to say to you. I want it clearly in writing that I can farm again. Otherwise, I won't plant them. Forget it. This is a very mountainous region. Even if we plant all these roses, who will come? Anchong is far from here. The journey is long. Will the roses be worth the trouble? It's a bad idea. I'm right, aren't I? It's not just me. Many of us are skeptical. 90% of the villagers are.
Geography and their ignorance of the economic value of roses are the main reasons why the villagers have turned Mr. Wu down. At the same time, price is also a major factor. They would rather leave their land barren than rent it out for planting.
We can't raise the offer. We just can't accept that. Our people won't accept that. That's the bottom line. We've spent over 1 million renminbi in leveling the land. So you see, the cost is just too high. Go slowly now. There are pits over there. Slowly. You have to be careful now. All right, slow and steady. Careful. Go slowly, all right? Slowly, watch it. Go this way. It's so hot. It's not easy, really. The main problem is the villagers. It's so hard to persuade them. That's one thing. The second is the soil. It's been bare for too long. The soil on our mountains is full of weeds and wild trees. This year, for example, we can level the soil, but we start planting next year. It's hard. It takes time. After we're done preparing the land, we have to wait. An entire year of waiting before we can begin planting anything. So the cycle is long. It is very difficult.
Although old Mr. Wu is alone in this fight and is faced with countless obstacles, he won't let anything stop him from pursuing his dream of building a rose park.
Take up this part, right over here.
Soon, old Mr. Wu's persistence and persuasiveness in explaining the project finally bore fruit. Some villagers signed the contract, albeit reluctantly. Since they've never planted roses in their lives, they're still skeptical about his plans.
There are too many weeds on your land, especially the twitch grass. You see, the twitch grass is very hard to get rid of. It's stubborn.
Today, they came as a group to negotiate with old Mr. Wu.
Let's say the owner pulls out. Then who bears the responsibility for the leasehold?
The villagers will feel more secure with a guarantor.
I agree, let's put that in writing.
How should we add this article? You write it.
We can add an article about the witnessing party.
According to the lease, you say you are going to pay the land rental annually. What if you pay this year, but next year you don't come? If you say I won't rent anymore, so I won't pay, who should we ask for the money? But the contract's been signed, so we ask the witnessing party. Now that we've signed the contract and collected the money, we hope you'll start working on it soon. Don't take
We'll
too
start
long.
on the project right away. We will make it big. We will do our best to work and help anyone in need.
Old Mr. Wu has been racking his brain in repeated negotiations with the villagers, leaving him exhausted. However, he firmly believes that the construction of the Rose Park will benefit all the villagers. Over the years, all the adults have left the village for work, and the problem of the left-behind elderly has gotten worse. Old Mr. Wu hopes the Rose Park's construction will attract more villagers to come back to work. It is a dream that he wants to fulfill more than anything, after spending many years away from his motherland.
Weeds are everywhere. Make sure you pull them all out. This is too short.
Ah, so many. There are a lot of thorns. Careful with the roses. Pull the thorns off. Be careful. Be careful.
In order to weed 40,000 square meters of land, old Mr. Wu has employed the village's left-behind elderly. By the time payday arrives, although the money in the account of the co-op is still very little, old Mr. Wu keeps his promise and gives the villagers their wages.
So that's 200, 300, 400, 500.
Come on, next.
Here, ma'am. Here's my card. You know what that is, right?
Yes, a business
Here.
card.
Take it. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Good job.
1 ton of cement, 2 cubic meters of fine sand.
Old Mr. Wu's eldest son, Wu Zhou, is 28 years old. For years, he has been working in the city with his father. At the start of 2014, he returned to their hometown. But after returning, the tension between him and his father over the Rose Park became worse and worse. Half a year later, Wu Zhou chose to leave his father and started a business with his classmate from middle school.
One bag is 35 or 40 kilograms.
It should weigh about 40.
Oh, I see. Is it easy to get bags like these?
We just got them from those places selling flour or rice, so it costs us much less.
Oh.
It's a lot cheaper. For 1 bag, we can save 1 shower more.
Has it been hard starting your business?
Of course it has been.
Well, you have to put up with the challenges. It's normal in business. I was wondering, as your next step, you plan to work in the area near Huafeng, right?
It depends on if we get the chance or not. It's impossible to succeed at once.
This signboard is way too small.
There are big ones too further ahead.
Over there? You should put this one on that spot over here. Both sides should have writing. If someone's vehicle passes by here, they should be able to see it. Am I right? It should be clearly seen from that side. But this signboard that you've put up here cannot be seen by others that easily.
We put up signboards everywhere
You have to make it
already.
easy to see. Look, for publicity, you should place it this way, facing traffic, so anyone driving a car can see it. It's better.
I already said we have signboards everywhere.
Yes, your signboard must be placed properly. It will be more visible. The ad should be more obvious to people. Right, put it that way, that's it. Right, just like that, perfect. It will be more effective now. More people are surely going to see the ad now.
My dream is pretty simple. I just want everybody in my family to live happily. Look at my mom now. When she gets up in the morning, she looks so sad. She used to go to the riverside very often. Every morning and evening, she danced there. Now, she won't even go out. My dad put all the money into his Rose Park. In the past, he'd sometimes play mahjong. But now he has stopped doing that too. He doesn't have the money to play mahjong anymore. We can say without a doubt that we don't have any money right now. I feel that in the past, we lived quite happily. We were doing all right, but in the last 1 or 2 years, I feel like my heart is carrying this burden, weighing me down. I find it hard to believe he'll succeed. Is that wrong?
Three months later, we see old Mr. Wu in the hospital. His wife has just undergone surgery for her kidney stone.
Move gently. Be careful.
Be careful. You can't bend your feet, but you can move your limbs. Her anesthesia is not worn off yet, so she's still very sleepy right now. Talk to her every now and then. Don't let her sleep for the next 6 hours. We'll check on her again tomorrow morning. If her stomach is better, she can have some water first.
Can she move her feet?
I'll explain everything to you.
After 7 months, things are not looking up. The plan to have a 666,666 square meter park has shrunk to a fraction of that size because some villagers refuse to rent out their land. Due to this scaling down, the credit co-op fears that the risk involved is too high, so they refused old Mr. Wu's loan application. This situation put the co-op in a financial predicament. So old Mr. Wu had to meet with the shareholders to come up with a solution.
Many problems have emerged lately. And so, let's have a discussion. With those who refuse to rent out their land, we have settled things. With those who still let us rent, our agreement still stands. What we need to do is reduce our scale. We just invested too much. We have spent a lot of money. Too much money. After spending so much, we have almost completely depleted our finances.
After seeing 1.8 million renminbi go down the drain, the shareholders have started to get nervous. They have even begun to blame old Mr. Wu for the failure in the land rentals.
All our efforts these past few months have led to nothing. Huh? Now what? What do we do? We've spent hundreds of thousands of yuan. We're in big trouble now, right? We should stick to our original plan, right?
We're back to square one. We should start over.
In order to see quick results, someone suggested raising hens and ducks so as to make up for the loss in rose planting.
We can buy a few hens and ducks.
Winter is coming. The weather is getting colder. Those hens and ducks?
That's right.
We have to finish weeding.
Look, the key is raising revenue.
This year we have to worry about rent. Next year we have to worry about the wages. We must do something after all.
That's a good point.
Old Mr. Wu does not agree with the other suggestions. He feels that the pressing task now is raising money for land formation and purchasing rose seedlings next year.
I was calculating. We must raise another 100,000 renminbi to settle our urgent problems, right?
As for the shareholders' suggestion of raising hens and ducks to raise some revenue, old Mr. Wu doesn't disagree with the idea. Earning money would be good, but he feels that this is too different from his dream.
In the beginning, we thought about raising pigs, cattle, and sheep. But raising animals, that will lead to a lot of pollution. That's the major problem. We must do what is good for the environment. We have to preserve it. You see, it's pointless returning to our hometown to develop it, but then end up making it dirty, polluting it, and making it worse than before. How is that rebuilding our hometown? Secondly, there's something that gives me confidence. I believe you can stand out in any business. As long as you believe in what you do, you can earn money from it. It just depends on how you do it. Whether you can endure hardships and whether you have patience. At the end of the day, perseverance is most important. That's the key.
After their meeting, old Mr. Wu began raising money.
After you finish this round, there's something I want to say to you.
Say to me? What is it?
Look, here's the thing. I've used up the money for the Rose Park that we've been working on the past few months, and I was hoping that I could borrow some money from you.
You had better just give it up. You have spent so much money on that project, but its success is very uncertain. Everybody doubts it will do well. Your idea is definitely a good one, but sometimes an idea is just that. Ideas do not always turn into a reality, and you must accept that. Anyway, I have no extra money to lend you right now, so you should just go somewhere else to borrow. And even if I did have the money, I wouldn't support your idea.
Brother, come in.
Hi.
Let's eat. We're having dinner.
It's all right.
Why didn't you call to say you were coming? We could have waited for you. Oh, sit down.
You're having hot pot.
Yes,
Please
come
sit.
join
We are.
us.
Please sit down. Let me get a stool for you. One moment. Here. You should
I've
eat
come here
first.
to discuss a matter with you.
Eat something.
Please, let me state my case first.
You have to eat.
Afterwards.
Would you just listen?
Let me speak first.
No matter what issue you have to eat well first.
Thank you.
Do you want some vinegar? Here, let me get you some. You should try this. Take that cup, please. Why aren't you eating anything? Go on.
I will eat, but first, let me tell you about this issue.
Okay, but the food's getting cold.
I promise, this won't take long. Come on.
All right.
It's about the project. In Ujawan, I need money and I was hoping that I could borrow some from you. The money that I had before has already been used up. And there are a lot of other things that still need to be accomplished over there. So I need some money. About 100,000 renminbi.
100,000? How can you think that I have that much money? All of us in our family disagreed with your project, but you still insisted on pursuing it. Your project is a bottomless pit. I'm telling you, for years, you're not going to see any fruitful results. Why not use the money for your son's business and have a chance
But
at a
I've already
happy
started
life?
it, so what can I do now?
Just
I have no choice but to
forget about the
continue.
money that you have already lost. Minimizing loss is like earning profit.
We just have
You
to
know our whole
persist.
family agrees
Things
with
are going to get better. Everything is difficult in the beginning, but we must continue all our efforts. This year we must try our best to earn back the money that we have initially invested in the project. So I need to borrow some money. If 100,000 renminbi is too much, 80,000 is okay too, and once I have enough money, I will pay you back in full.
Where am I going to find that money to lend? For this project of yours, everyone is torturing you. Aren't you tired of all of it yet? If you would just use your energies at home, take good care of your family, take good care of your
It
health.
doesn't matter to me at all if I'm tired. All that matters is that I make sure that this project of ours goes well.
The point is, you try to make it go well, but no one understands you. Take your time and think about what I've said. I'm telling you to give this up. But if you insist on borrowing, I can lend you a few thousand at most. Now let's eat first. Let's finish our meal. Look at you. You are such a mess right now. How do you expect us to support you confidently? You are so worried every day you don't eat right. And with this project, you've neglected your health. How can I, as your sister, or even our parents, bear to see you doing this to yourself?
Does it still hurt?
Don't even ask.
After old Mr. Wu's wife's surgery for her kidney stone, his eldest son was soon diagnosed with the same condition.
So, what was the result of your medical checkup today?
I have one stone in my right kidney and another one in
They're
the
still
left.
in the kidneys. They haven't broken off yet?
They're still in the kidneys.
So they haven't broken yet?
No, there were no stones in my ureter.
None right now. So the stones are in the kidneys.
That was the result from yesterday morning's examination. But today's examination contradicted it.
It's possible. It happened to someone I know. He had to have surgery for it before. It's difficult to borrow money right now. I've tried many places. I feel annoyed because I can't borrow money. And now, the villagers are beginning to doubt me.
Let me tell you something. We have never supported you in this project of yours in the first place. It's pointless. Look at you. You're in your 50s. Why are you doing this?
We had to find work far from home. Year after year, we have grown older. Although right now, we can still keep going. My point here is, since we are living in the countryside, we should cultivate our land and grow something worthwhile that may possibly bring us money. So when we retire, we can go back home.
Stop saying that. Let's not talk about it anymore. In a project like yours, one person alone won't make a difference. Let's stop talking about that. I'm going to rest.
All this time, we've worked outside our hometown. We can send some money back every year or every month. And right now, I spend money on the park every day. So everyone is against me. That's just how it is. They do not know when we will reap the rewards. No one knows the outcome. We'll wait and see.
The co-op's fund shortage has troubled old Mr. Wu. His son's illness is making him worry as well. Today, he put his concerns with the co-op aside to see his son.
Have you eaten yet?
Yes.
And does the kidney stone still hurt?
It's a bit better.
All right.
Much better, actually.
All right, so then, when will you go for another checkup?
In 5 or 6 days.
Since you're not well, I came here to give you a hand.
A brick bigger than a half is okay. All right. All right. That's great.
You riding the elevator?
I'll take the stairs instead.
It's a long way down.
Sure. It's good for my kidney stone. I need to come back to work. I missed several days already.
What can really produce a good profit is over 50,000 square meters of edible roses. In order to help the villagers get a deeper understanding of the economic value of edible roses and dispel their doubts, old Mr. Wu has come up with a special plan.
These ones here are 28 renminbi each.
Is this one more expensive?
Yeah, it's stainless steel.
Be careful.
Mix the rose petals and the honey.
Is that the whole flower?
Just the flower petals.
$17, $18. Here. Oh. Hi. Try the steamed buns that we cooked. Taste the stuffing.
Delicious.
Really?
Yes,
So, can you tell what stuffing we used?
It's
Can you
sweet.
tell what it is?
very sweet.
Does it taste familiar to you?
It's sunflower.
Sunflower?
Is it not? What's in it then?
The stuffing is made from roses.
Oh, roses.
Yes, that's roses you're tasting. Want some more?
That's enough, thank
You're
you.
welcome. It's roses.
Oh, Rose, it tastes delicious.
Do you remember smelling that fragrance when you were doing the weeding for me up on the mountain?
Right.
Yes.
Yes? We plan on producing more of these so we can sell them.
What is this filling made of? Is it the flowers you planted?
What?
The flowers you planted.
Which flowers?
The roses. Do I need to pay for them?
No, you don't. They're free. No need to pay. Brother Tao. Hello. How are you? Feeling better? Look at these. I missed you so much, I picked them for you. I'll wear them in my hair later if you want. This just shows you how much I missed you.
He sent me roses. Yeah, right. You've been bringing me roses every day already.
I picked them just for you.
Yes, they're lovely.
Maybe by the time the middle of April rolls around, our roses will bloom. They will blossom beautifully.
Winter is fast approaching. Old Mr. Wu is making plans for the Rose Park next year.
So let me tell you the next step of our work. Next year, we plan to make all kinds of products to sell. We're going to produce rose cakes and steam buns and other things too. Essential oil is not feasible for now. That requires equipment. We can't do that yet. These are realistic problems that we'll deal with. Then next April or May, we'll pick buds. Just the rose buds. Just before the roses bloom. Then dry them. And then we'll use them to make tea. We can produce rose tea. It's a good product. People like Sister Lee will be able to turn their white hair black. Your white hair will become black after drinking it. You'll be just like an 18-year-old beauty. Rejuvenation.
18歲的 baby 啊，你是不是？哦，返老还童。
Old Mr. Wu hopes that next year he can process the edible roses after they bloom and sell them. This way, he can create revenue for the co-op and also strengthen the partners' confidence in the plans they have for the project. Yet the shortage of funds for the Rose Park is still considerable. In order to cut costs, old Mr. Wu has to transplant the already planted edible rose seeds to the 26,666 square meters of leveled land.
All of us have dreams. Some are big, while some are small. No matter how great the challenges we may face, we have to remain steadfast and continue marching on, keep going. If we stay firm and march on, stay the course, and continue to advance, our dreams can always come true.